Hello, everyone, and welcome to Warm Hugs with Suzanne. Thank you for taking the time to bring us into your day. My guest today is amazing. I cannot wait to introduce you to her. Okay, she is a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador, founder, president, CEO of Elevate International. She has won numerous international awards, inspirational speaker, wife, mother of four, previously Mrs. Canada World, currently Miss, an official Miss Universe Canada candidate, and pretty much basically, let's just face it, she's going to be Miss Universe. She's my friend. That's the most amazing part of all. Okay, I have never tried to say her name before, but I'm going to do it today, and I'm going to see how I go. Introducing Solange Tuyishime Keita. How did I go?
Yeah, like I do love that you actually like tried the whole thing. So it's like I always tell people when you think about my last name, it's Tuyishime, like the month of May,
Okay.
and then Keita. Like it's interesting because in English, like it's E, but in French it's So it's almost like it's like Keita. Like it's
Keita.
yeah, it's a
Tuyishime Keita.
yes,
Ah!
perfect. I know. I think it's probably one of those most diverse names. If you can think about it, like Solange is French because you get it when you're baptized,
Yeah.
like in the origin country where I come from. And then Tuyishime is actually my name because in our country, in our culture, when you're born, your parents give you your last name first, and it's supposed to have a meaning. So in our family, nobody has the same last name. So
Oh,
I'm the only
wow.
Tuyishime. Yes. So Tuyishime is basically be thankful to our creator or to God, or basically it's like, let's be thankful to our creator. Now I understand why I live in gratitude all the time. Um, and then Keita, of course, is my husband's name. So you have like French, you have Rwandan, and then you have Mali, like West African. So I literally give you a good, beautiful rainbow with my name, and I'm the only Solange Tuyishime Keita in the entire world.
How incredible is that? And just so everyone knows, Solange is actually coming to us from Canada.
Right? Like, can I just come back to you because it snowed yesterday? It was like a whole foot of snow. Like, can I just come back to you so we can take our walks at 6 a.m. when it's very hot in the Bahamas? Yes.
Just for anyone who's not currently looking at their screen, not that Solange is outside, but yes, as she said, she's just had a foot of snow
Yeah.
yesterday, and I'm sitting here in like a sleeveless top. But the best thing, I just had this feeling this morning when I put this on, I thought, I bet Solange and I are both going to be in bright yellow. And we are
Yes.
both sitting here in bright yellow.
Yeah. Yellow is my happy color. It just does something for me,
Love
to
it.
me, and it makes me show up in the world differently for people and for myself. Yeah.
Yes, I love it. Well, and it's a bit overcast today. See, it's a bit overcast, Solange. So how Solange and I actually normally meet in the Exumas once a year for the Run for Pompeii,
Yes.
and we meet at the most beautiful location. And we get up each morning and we go for like a sunrise walk over the golf course, looking at the most gorgeous beaches in the world.
Yes.
So, yes, that's what Solange is referring to when she says she'd like to come back here with me.
I think we have the most amount of sunrise pictures together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. This is true.
Yeah.
Now, Solange, well, just for everyone to know, so today we're going to be discussing, oh my goodness, first of all, we're going to be talking about Solange and her unbelievably surprising and inspiring life story, and how she then comes to have all of these credentials that I've just read off. And we're also going to be looking at self-love
Mm,
and what that means to Solange, how she brings it into her life. And I don't know, we're just going to be diving into that a bit more. So I'm really excited for today. First
okay.
thing though, I just wanted to see how you're checking in, Solange.
How I'm checking in. It's February, so it's usually one of the busiest times for me. We're I'm putting together a conference to close Black History Month on the Parliament Hill here. So we usually welcome like shy of 500 people, if not more. So putting that together in itself is like a really big undertaking. But then also 1 week after, literally 1 week later, I host one of the largest conferences for International Women's Day. And it's the same thing. You're almost welcoming in a 2 day, almost 1,000 people. So this is one of those moments where it's basically mind over matter, but it's also remembering that I am serving. And this is those moments where it's busy, but it's meaningful. So I have to breathe in a lot. I have to find solutions very quickly. I have to really, really dive deep in like canceling the noise. Doesn't
Mm,
matter who thinks what about me, whether it's good or bad. It's focused on the mission, on the service, and what I'm meant to deliver during that time. And then the rest of my precious time is really, really with like family, like watching a movie with my husband, laying on the bed and having beautiful conversation with my daughters. It's really like it's focus time. So how
yeah,
I'm checking in, it's busy and focused.
I love that. My goodness. Well, it's sort of like my last episode, we were talking about intention. And you've got to
Yes,
intentionally be focused and then
yes,
intentionally be spending time with your family as well.
yes. And that's very much my word of the year. It's funny enough, it's what I wrote this
Yeah.
year, which was my word of the year was intentional. That I was going to be very, very intentional about what I do, who I do it with, how I do
Mm.
it. Everything needs to check in and be in alignment.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for sharing that with us. And thank you so much for making time for me and for warm hugs in your busy life as well. Although, just so everyone knows, I've known Solange, what, for like 3 years now, and I
Mhm.
don't think I've ever known her not to be busy. I think this is like maybe the third or fourth time we've tried to do a podcast as well. So I'm
Yes.
so grateful for having you now.
No, thank you for having me.
Solange, would you be able to tell us about
Mm,
your life? How did you come to be, and how did you come to have a French, Rwandan,
Malian.
Malian name but live in Canada?
Oh my gosh. I really look for it's very interesting even when I think about it because I'm in the process of writing my book and I keep saying there's no way this is like one book. Maybe there is like 3 volumes to this book because I think about myself as a young girl growing up in East Africa, really just having a good life,
Mm,
like anything a child could think of and dream of. But then that gets very, I won't say erased, but it gets ruined very, very early on. I'm 10 years old and there is instability and there are conflicts and I'm having to sort of think about who I am and what's my ethnicity, what's my identity, and having to justify that and that differentiate who lives and who doesn't live. And sometimes it's just a matter of luck. So being a 10-year-old who's having to justify who I am, like becomes pretty significant
And
for the rest of my life.
this is when you're in Rwanda.
So actually, this is all like if I look at my life in East Africa, really, it's in every country. I'm having to think
Yeah.
about who I am, what's my ethnicity, where I come from, where do I share it, where I don't share it. And it's a matter of life and death. And I think, we left becoming a refugee and just having to witness conflict and genocide, losing family members, and becoming a child refugee who goes from having a beautiful, stable, nice home to having nothing at all and sleeping in a tent and watching people mistreat your parents while they're trying to just find even the next meal for you really teaches you a lot about humanity. But I think living as a refugee as well, it did two things for me. One, everybody that was unkind, unloving, mean, and horrible, it really showed me what I didn't want to be. So I think there's this conversation where they say trauma does do two things to you. Either you run towards it or you run completely against it.
Mm.
I'm extremely, extremely sensitive to unkind people. Like even those vivid images on who mistreated our parents, who mistreated us, who was unkind towards us. Like I still remember those as if I was a young girl. And it still breaks my heart that people can be that unkind, unloving, and anything that's not love. So I think it really shaped me to be one of those people that wanted to see good in humanity and celebrate it. And then the second thing it did for me was just hanging on to my dreams because all of a sudden I became that little girl that didn't have it all. I couldn't think, oh, our parents are going to pay for this really fancy education and I'm going to live in a fancy house and everything I dream of, somebody could buy it for me or get it for me. It was like, I had this really big dream of like standing in front of like thousands of people. And I can still remember I'm standing in the doorway of someone who had allowed us to stay in their yard because in the refugee camps, people were dying fairly quickly because the diseases were spreading fast. So we stayed in their front yard. And I remember standing in the doorway of their house and seeing myself as a little girl standing in front of thousands of people. And I didn't know what that meant, but I hung on to that dream for a very
Yeah.
long time. So years later, from Congo to Kenya to Uganda, all these countries where I've lived as a refugee, years later, we build the life in Canada. We get to arrive in Canada. And at this point, I'm almost 14. And that girl that had this vision is starting to hang on to this vision again. So every opportunity I took, it was based on that vision. And it's funny now that we're having this conversation. I'm doing a lot of internal work on how we bring our future to life. And I
Mm.
don't know how I had forgotten that until really this is like happening live, till we're having this conversation now, because that vision is what led me to, trying for a soccer team and I had never played soccer. And this coach can't get like there's no heart to tell me, Solange, like you cannot make the soccer team, you cannot play soccer, because he could see I was so desperate to find belonging and
Yeah.
I wanted to make friends. And he's like, okay, you can stay on the team, but you're gonna be on the bench. And I'm like, yes. And he's like, did you hear like what I just said? Like, you're not gonna play. And in my head, I'm like, I'm on the team. Like, we're great. We're good to go. So I think that vision of just seeing something bigger for me is really what carried me through. And sure enough, like last year of soccer in my high school, I'm captain of the soccer team. I'm just leading it like this girl did not know how to play soccer 4 years ago. So I think as we talk about that, even the ability to be invited to participate at a pageant, and I was like, no, I've never done this before. By remembering that girl that had this big vision at 11 years old in the middle of a refugee camp, she says, yes. She says, okay, I'm going to do pageants. And I'm like, I have no clue what you do pageants with. So I'm calling my friend and I'm like, listen, I got to go to this thing a week from now. Can we go to Walmart and find stuff? And we go to Walmart, we find a dress, we find like nylons that look like yours, Suzanne, because like was like white people nylons.
Yeah.
Can't, but the life of me don't even know that they have colored nylons at all. I'm wearing Walmart shoes. I remember they were black and white. Um, but that vision is really what led me to just thinking that there was something bigger for me. So as we talk about this, I was thinking like, Solange, why do you feel stuck lately? And it's because I forgot that visioning. So now as we have this conversation, I'm like, oh, now I know how I did that last time. And then I get to like redo it over and over and over and over again. So going from like such a great life to becoming a refugee to seeing so many people that you love and those that you don't even know at all who are innocent lose their lives, to losing your home, to losing people you love, to living as a refugee, to starting a new life in Canada, and now giving myself opportunities to just be something greater than my circumstances, I think is what led me here. And now to a mother of four, one in heaven, through with us, who is leading this organization that is really, wow, there's so many things happening live. That is really like at the core, I knew that I wanted women to have a greater voice in this world as leaders because the biggest issues affect women and children, but they're never part of the decision makers. So I said, if we have more women part of the decision making tables, then the decisions could look different.
Yeah.
And now it's evolving into this wonderful mission that is just meant to unite purpose driven leaders that are dedicated to elevating humanity. I think that's how I would put it today. It's happening live. So at this point,
What an incredible
when
purpose. I just love it. And even looking, anyone again who can't see the video, behind Solange, she's got, I presume that's your Elevate logo. Is that part of
yes.
the logo? It says inspire, empower, elevate.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, ah, it's like, it's just all, they're just like the best words. And but they're more than words. This is your mission and your purpose. And I love you
Yeah.
for it. It's
Thank
so
you.
beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I used to have like a hard time with our creator. And I'm like, why'd you make me this way? Couldn't you have just given me something as simple like, Solange, you're the best typer in the world. You go and you type words, you come home and you live your best life. Or you're the best like runner, or you're the best doctor. You go, you do your thing, you come back. And it's like this thing to genuinely feel humanity at the core is rewarding and exhausting at the same time
Mhm.
because you're emotionally invested.
Yeah.
So the work of you just do work and you come home and you do everything else, I don't know that life because I started feeling humanity at a very young age. So people's suffering affect me, people's happiness affect me, how I make people feel, environments that I create to make others feel and be inspired to do greater work, but also going deeper into like, how do I create spaces that empower them so they never have to feel alone? It's also something that I carry very, very like preciously and deeply. And then how do we collectively just unite everyone else so that I'm not thriving and somebody else is suffering? So it's just it's heavy work. And for in the when I started this work, I wasn't in touch so much with my emotions
Mhm.
that it's sort of like a very heavy mission that I've been given in this lifetime. So I used to wonder, I used to think I was failing all the time because I was like, well, how come I didn't get to do this and I missed out on this? until I realized that that's just how I'm wired. I love inspiring people. I love uniting people for a purpose. But I also, the idea, because I'm someone who felt very lonely in my mission for a long time, especially whether it was a child refugee who saw myself further than the circumstances I was in, or now someone who's on a mission that looks a lot different than what the world might see as normalcy. It felt so lonely. So I don't like people feeling alone. So I
Yeah.
have to bring that into the equation. And then it's looking at the status of the world today. And I say, okay, how do I make sure that these leaders never get to feel alone so that they can do the work that they're meant to do to elevate society? So
Mm.
it's complex and simple in my mind,
Yeah.
but it can be very lonely until I realized that that's just how I was wired. So we inspire, we empower, and then we elevate humanity together.
Oh my goodness. I love it. And oh my goodness. I totally get it. I totally
Mhm.
get it. I mean, I just, I do not have a charitable foundation, and I'm not a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador. I'm nowhere near being Miss Universe, but that's where, like, even in the podcast, I don't know, for me, it's just, I love sharing stories in the hope that they are going to inspire other people and inspire people and motivate people to live their best life, to be happy, not to feel lonely, and to understand that so much of that comes from inside.
Mm,
And to have that, it's so easy to feel like you are alone.
yeah,
And
very easy.
but to help people to understand that we all feel that way. And this is the thing as well. I mean, how funny is it hearing a the future Miss World
The
say,
future Miss Universe.
God, why didn't you give me something easy like being just be the best typist? And I'm like, Solange,
Mm.
how on earth does someone who feels so deeply other people,
Hmm.
who don't like unkindness, and I don't know, for me, I see that sort of like as judging. How on earth do you then put yourself up there to be judged as like Miss Universe?
You know, it's interesting. So to the world, it's this thing where you see that you're putting yourself out there to be judged. Honestly, until today, and knock on wood, I haven't received that feeling yet. And I
Yeah.
hope I never do. For me, it's a sport that comes with ambassadorship. So to me, it's this is a platform that gives you the ability to share your message with the world. And somewhere in there, you get to have fun with it. The fun with it is in gown, hair, makeup. That's the fun part. The work part is what is the message you want to deliver to the world?
Hmm.
You've chosen this platform, pageantry platform, and why? And why are you the best candidate to deliver this message during this time? Not it doesn't mean that if Suzanne brought warm hugs and Solange brought elevate, the one is better than the other.
Yeah.
For me, the way I see it, we sit in front of the judges, and this is a sport. We prepared, and you get to tell them that you really feel like it's time for warm hugs with Suzanne because the word is so it desperately needs just warm hugs. We're in an era where we're so connected, but we're deeply disconnected because on social media we feel like we have 1,000 friends, but really we don't really have a friend who checks in and say, "How was your day?"
Yeah.
So for those reasons, right now, as Suzanne, I'm your next Miss Universe because the world needs more hugs and I'm ready to spread it globally. And I come in and I say, I'm Solange Tuyishime, and I feel like women's leadership is more needed than ever. We're in a time where hunger, war, conflicts, genocides all these things are happening globally and they're affecting women and girls, but they're really part of the decision makers. And I'm there to not only unite leaders, to make this global movement where women are part of the table, but through my journey, I'm also inspiring them to step forward and be leaders and lead initiatives that they would like to see in this world and how they would like to drive that change. And for these reasons, I would be honored to be your next Miss Universe Canada. So you're not wrong, I'm not wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
It just means the way you presented it and I presented it, how we connected with our leaders, and how it's connecting with society, it gets to drive, you get to be a winner, and I get to be a winner for this time.
We both get
That's
our
how I've
message
always
out there.
seen it. That's how I've always seen it.
Mm-hmm.
But also through that journey, if we use it wisely, whether I'm first and you're second or vice versa, we've used these next 6 months to really drive our mission. And either way, nobody lost. People got to know Warm Hugs with Suzanne, and people got to know Elevate Women. So regardless, there was a win-win opportunity. And if I'm fortunate to be the winner, I also get to remember that through that journey, I shared it with Suzanne.
Yeah.
And I can come back and say, Suzanne is also another woman leading Warm Hugs in this mental health space, and I would love to shine light on her. So for me, the being judged on stage for 30 seconds, it just meant I took maybe extra walks in that morning and extra runs with you, and I was in the best shape of my life, and I'm showcasing that. And I picked the perfect yellow dress, and they loved it. But the rest, it's really icing on the cake.
Yeah.
So I've never seen it as in being part of a pageant platform that I'm just giving myself out there to be judged. I've always seen it. This is an incredible opportunity that I get to be part of, and I get to shine light on my mission to amplify the voices of women who are leading globally and to advocate for the most vulnerable children around the world. So until then, and I hope this won't change, that's how I see it. I
Yeah.
step into the pageant world to elevate voices and to create a difference. Will someone else see it differently? Sure. But everything is all about perspective.
Yeah.
Our perspective always gets to decide how we show up in anything, whether it's at work. You could say,
Definitely.
why do I work for this company? And it does all these horrible things. Or you can say, I'm grateful to be part of this company, and here's how I can elevate my voice, my leadership, my contribution to make it better and help them make society better. It's always, is your glass half full, half empty, up to you. And for me, pageantry, I don't think you're judging me. I think you are literally looking at the person who's the most ready to amplify their message and use that platform for the good and elevate others along the way.
Ah, so beautiful. See, she should definitely be Miss Universe. And I think that I just got as close as I'm ever going to get to being a Miss Universe as well. Because you just
You
like
just
introduced
won.
me.
It's the
You just,
best warm frog presentation.
I know. A few podcasts ago, it was World Peace by Suzanne, and now it's Miss Universe by Suzanne.
Yes.
I'm,
I love it.
I'm so excited. Okay. I'm gonna ask a tough question here. Maybe it's a tough question.
Mm.
Is it easy? So a lot of this is coming down to, I mean, we're not even saying the word, but obviously, like a lot of this comes down to self-love. You have to
Mm.
love yourself to have this confidence as well.
Mm.
Solange, isn't it sort of a bit easier when you are absolutely gorgeous to love yourself?
Okay, first of all, like full transparency, I think you grow up being told you're beautiful, but how you internalize it is very different. So to me, in the pageant world, entering it, I never thought, oh my gosh, I'm gorgeous. Like, this is me being fully transparent. There
Really,
was never a day where I'm like,
even when you see those pictures of yourself in those gowns, you're not like, hey, I'm hot.
I look good. I'd say I look great. But have I ever been one of those people who walk in a room and think, oh my gosh, I'm the most beautiful human being in this space? Gosh, no. Oh my gosh, no. Like at all. In fact, with pageantry, I think it's only now that I'm starting to realize that there is an external beauty that I bring to the table that someone like, okay, Solange, like, but I really trusted and I drove my mission in pageantry based on the fact that I knew I could share my heart with the judges. I could share a bigger vision with the world. And I felt like it was my philanthropic heart that got me to win.
Mhm.
I am someone who's quick to see beauty in other people. So like I'll get someone like, oh my gosh, that human being is so beautiful. Men or women, all of
Yeah.
it. I see beauty in people so much that the idea that I used to think, plus like I always tell people on a great day, I'm 5'8". By the time I go to bed, I'm like 5'6". So I was never like the type of person that shows up in a room and I'm like 6 feet, size zero, whatever. I'm like this tiny human being with a big heart, who just shows up full, like fully loving people, the world, and what we do together. So I've always felt like that's what I bring to the table. It was never like supermodel type of thing. I was discovered when I'm 12 and I was like on a fashion runway in Milan. All those beautiful things. I love people who get to do that and I celebrate them wholeheartedly. It's not that. It's not Solange. It's really not Solange. Solange is just this little tiny human being that shows up with a heart bigger than her size. And I have East African hips and a wonderful East African forehead and all these things. And I love my smile. And I love that I get to hug people and they know that they're truly loved. So in the pageant world, that's how I've showed up. Self-love, I feel that came in much later. Like I
Mhm.
felt like in the beginning when you're younger you have self-love just from just growing up from a family that wholeheartedly loves you and never judges you. So I never like reduced my existence to think that I'm less of. So I had that like subconscious self-love, but this conscious self-love is something that I've actively worked on the last 10 years. So I would say after like having kids and going through the loss of a child, you really start asking yourself, like, what am I here for? Like, what is this life? Because when you go through a very devastating circumstance such as that one, I always say there's no greater loss than a parent losing their child.
Yeah.
Because it's those moments where humanity calls us to like try and find every solution possible. Um, and then when they leave us, it's like a part of us is gone with them, and we have to find how to add love into that pocket that's left so empty and devastating. So when we lost our daughter, I think all the trauma of like being a child refugee, seeing genocide, surviving genocide, conflict, all that trauma came and battled in together in one. Now I was living it all
Yeah.
because pre-Nyla, so Nyla is our daughter in heaven. When our girls were born, right? Identical triplets, 3 girls, 5 minutes. When our girls were born, I'm thinking, okay, like I am the miracle, the existing miracle on this planet.
Yeah.
Like that's how I was seeing it,
Did you know
right?
you were having three?
Yes. Yeah. I knew I was having 3 7 weeks in. Like, because it was just unheard of that you naturally get pregnant with identical triplets in the same placenta in the same sac. So
And
like you go
there's
from being
no,
1 in 2 million to 1 in 1/2 million to 1 in 1/2, right?
oh,
Because when
wow.
you're having identicals, fraternal, identical, some are like different placentas,
Yeah.
great. Everybody has their own feeding, same placenta, different sacs. Okay, still right, but everybody still. But for me, it's like naturally identical, same placenta, same sac, one feeding. So like it's like miracles on top of everything else in between. So for me, in that moment, right? So think of this. I had one Miss Canada. I had one Miss Canada Galaxy. I had gone on international to win Miss United Nations, Miss Galaxy International. And now I'm pregnant with triplets. I'm kind of like, like hardship was like over there, and now I'm living my best life, and now I get to have this like crazy story of
Yeah.
best mom ever, beauty queen, leader, philanthropist, has identical triplets. Great, right? This is how I'm seeing it. Everybody gets a season of challenges, you go through it, and then you're good. So when our daughter passes away a few weeks after all these three wonderful children are born, you're kind of like, now you're talking to your creator, you're like, make it make sense for me, because now I don't get you.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, all the trauma I had gone through as a child and as a teenager and everything else in between now is alive, because there's no forever happiness. Now I'm questioning the definition of happiness. When do we actually get to be happy?
Yeah. Aren't you in the happily ever after part?
Correct. So, and it's weird because all these things I kept listening to my intuition, and I knew I wanted to have another child. And it's funny, when I told my husband, I'm like, babe, we're having another one, like now or never. And he looked at me and he's like, is she for real? Even when we announced we were pregnant, people thought, oh, like it must have been a surprise. Oh, no, no, no. This girl does no surprise babies. Like I knew, like I wanted another baby. So
Yeah.
we have another child, and it's a beautiful girl, Samia. And she's born. We're back to three girls. She grows up super fast, and now everybody's calling them triplets. And now I don't know how to handle this situation. But then I was happy as a family, loved everything that we were blessed with. And I was also in full gratitude that I got to say goodbye to our daughter. She passed away in my arms. Devastating, but equally like rewarding, because I know so many mothers in this world would love to say goodbye to their children and would love to see people fight for their children. That's a whole other story on its side. We could have a whole other podcast on loss and gratitude. But internally, on the self-love part, I didn't get it. Like, how am I supposed to love this human being who's not allowed to be happy? So I think I confiscated my time in advocating for people in the world, making sure my family was okay, all these things. And I dove right into pageantry to continue advocating for children and mothers. But I think genuinely deep down inside me, I didn't truly believe that I deserve happiness, because I was so scared that if I ever get to be happy again, something will be taken away from me. Because then I was really traumatized.
Yeah.
I'm a child with a beautiful house and a home and a family taken
Taken
away.
away.
I am, trying to rebuild my life, taken away. You're a refugee. I am this mother who's achieved all these things and become this mother who survived this miraculous of identical triplets, taken away. So then it was like, keep your head down, work really hard, save humanity, do everything for everybody else, and just don't be too happy, because it will be taken away. So it's not really until now that I'm really reprogramming and teaching myself that my happiness does not equate hardship or trauma. And even when that happens, it's not because I was happy. It's just because that's how my life was just meant to go.
Yeah.
So I think self-love has come into really wonderful conversation to myself about myself, being in alignment spiritually, that I am born with so much love and that I deserve so much love, and that the love that I give is the love that I deserve to also obtain back. It has come down to just that idea of what we deserve because we're worthy.
Yes.
And I have to wear it all the time because every time I question it, it's this.
What is it?
Here it says I'm worthy, and on the other side it says enough. So I
And
am
this is
worthy
a
because
necklace
I'm
that
enough.
Solange is showing us.
Yeah. So
Did you buy
every
that for yourself?
no, I shared it with my friend. My friend Lindsay, she's my photographer. Most of the photos you'll see on my Instagram and some of these things. My wonderful friend Lindsay, she's been taking photos of me for the last 7 years as I continue to like try to win this title.
Except if you're an exhumer, because those photos are taken by me.
Yes. And I kept telling her that every time I come close to winning and I don't win, I go through this moment where it feels so lonely
Yeah.
because I wanted the world to see how much I so love this world so much and how much I want to unite everybody so we can make this world better for everybody. And I always say, oh, I was so close to sharing it. And she said, but what holds you back? And sometimes the feedback I would get from the judges used to say, I was so excited to meet you and I wanted to hear so much from you, but you were so reserved. And it was this idea that if I share too much, then I get to be vulnerable and it might be taken away.
Yes.
So she said that she had a friend who she makes these necklaces from scratch. And mine that she got to buy for me was worthy and enough. And it was this reminder of reminding myself that I really deserve all these beautiful things that I dream of and want in this world because I'm worthy and I am enough. And
Yes.
these are conversations I told myself all the time, even when I started training in pageantry. And I felt bad because I was this juggle between, are you a present mother or are you a leader in this world? Because, as women, we're like, should we be there for everyone else?
Mhm.
But if I'm taking my time for myself, does that mean I'm selfish?
That's right. Is that
And I had
allowed?
to remind myself, and it's this quote, and I no longer have to say it so many times because now I truly believe it. I said it so many times that I believed it. It was, you are not required to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. And you are not required to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. And every morning I said it. And I would go to the gym and I would have an hour for myself and I would sweat it out. And I would come home as a happy mother, happy wife, happy Solange. And every time, you are not required to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. And now I
Yes.
know. And that's how I just operate. So self love becomes such an important part of who we are, how we lead, and how we show up for others and society. So I think until we are genuinely loving ourselves, then we're not showing up wholeheartedly. And when we show up full, it changes from how we react from people just being negative, because then you no longer see, oh, that person was so rude to me, I need to like answer back. It's more of, I usually take a minute and I say to my heart, I hope you find love.
Yeah.
So I'm no longer mad. I'm just sad because you're wounded and it's showing up different. And I don't internalize it because now I know that I'm sending you so much love, so much healing, and so much opportunity for enlightenment, for something to lift up whatever is carrying heavily on your heart. So I think it just changes things. Of course, I still have my moments because, as I shared with you at the beginning of this conversation, I'm deeply sensitive to unkindness
Yeah.
or unloving people or people who are just plain out purposely mean. So in a world where there's still things like clicks, favoritism, all these things,
Yeah.
in a moment when when I don't see myself part of, when I wasn't invited to the clique, and I'm like, the little 11-year-old girl who became a refugee and was in a refugee camp just comes and hides in the corner. And I'm like, oh, but why? And then it reminds me, but because Solange, because you know what that is, you would never do that. One, because you know what that is, you're creating a world where all people feel like they're loved, appreciated, and they belong. And also because you're not part of the clique, you're not distracted to just being part of this thing. You're really focused on the mission. So the universe and the world and the God and your creator is saying, stay focused, my love, because you're loved, you're enough, and you're worthy. And the right people will stay. They will help you stay focused because you are here on a mission to serve for a purpose. So then I get to heal that little Solange that was hiding because of all these other things
Yeah.
that were a distraction of pain and hurt and all these things. I'm reminded why my journey looks like this. And sometimes other people need this group of individuals to be part of a clique
Yeah.
because that's how they function. So one is not better than the other, but it's which one helps you stay in alignment with your mission on this planet.
Mm.
And I really feel that when each and every one of us understands that we're not here just to like YOLO type of thing, like living your best life, chilling, right? Yes, we have a great life. Like you and I are having a beautiful conversation and we're having a great time. But when we understand that we're here for a purpose, an individual
Yeah.
mission, you, Suzanne, were sent here to deliver X. When we understand that, everything is in alignment with it. How we lead as mothers or as parents, how we lead organization, how we show up for volunteer work or humanitarian mission is in alignment with that purpose that we've been given before we were even born. So I think it just start making things a little bit easier and less lonely. And
Yeah.
that's my thing. If I can make this world less lonelier for leaders so that they can continue being inspired and empowered to do the work that they need to do to elevate humanity, then I'm fulfilling what I was sent here to do.
Yeah. So many things I love there.
You're like dissecting this.
I love conscious self-love. I wrote that down. I'm like, that's it. It's not just self-love, it's conscious self-love.
Yes.
But here, in talking about Elevate International as well, and in talking about your purpose there, how do you find these leaders? What is a leader to you?
So I'll simplify it for you first. To the world, a leader is someone who is responsible for a group of people to drive a specific mission, objective, or goal. I don't
Mhm.
know how I came up with that.
I love it. It's like you've read
Um,
that out of Webster's dictionary.
I'm telling you, something is happening today. It must be my coffee. Okay, so that's like simplified to the world,
Yeah.
right? Can be financial, it can be humanitarian, all those things.
Am I a
To me,
leader? I don't know.
to me, to me, a leader is someone who understands that they have a responsibility to care for the world and deliver a mission that is advancing humanity in any capacity. Could be, you could be building, um, you could be building houses. So you understand that you really need to do that job carefully so that the homes people move in are safe and all that. It could be a journalist to deliver news. It could be someone who just bakes muffins to make patients in a certain hospital feel like someone showed up, and or someone who babysits. It could be anything. For me, leadership is understanding that we have a greater responsibility beyond just us.
Mhm.
My most important criteria, which is just for Solange, a leader is someone who's huggable.
I love it. Warm hugs.
Yes. So for me, when I look at a leader, is that you could have a leadership responsibility, but you're not a leader.
Mm-hmm.
And a leader is someone, and I love physical hugs, but you don't have to love physical hugs. Hugs can be imagined, they can be felt,
Yeah.
they can be expressed. So a leader is someone who welcomes people on their mission and makes everyone who's around them feel welcome to share, to contribute, and to advance a mission. And is also someone who makes hard decisions, but in consideration of humanity.
Yeah.
So it's beyond textbooks saying we made $2.2 million and we spent $1.8 million, so we have a surplus of X amount. Or we attracted 700 clients this year. Our goal next year is to attract 800 clients. And to do that, we need to put in strategy, a marketing strategy, and a reach, all these other things.
Yeah.
Those are great. We can do them. And eventually, with where the world is going, eventually artificial intelligence will be able to just do that for you. But then it's like being really intentional. We attracted 700 leaders who were our ideal clients, who are also doing the best in their work to do X, Y, and Z. Together, we celebrated their accomplishments. We also helped them elevate their mission and how they're doing it. And this can be in any field. People try to dissect that and be like, oh, but like we're just engineers. Yeah, you can make the world better as an engineer. Whether you're a doctor, an engineer, a lawyer, a banker, all these other things, is we attracted clients. We help them fulfill their mission to the best of their ability. And through that process, the people who work for us and with us, we treated them really well, and they felt like they were part of this mission. So
Yeah.
it's this idea that we're moving together in an environment that is safe and positive, so that the ripple effect of our clients, our partners, and everybody else, and our employees are also equally feeling the same. So you have to be huggable, whether it's physically, whether it's mentally, whether it's something you've expressed, you have to be huggable. You invite people in, they feel loved, welcomed, and appreciated, and they go and they duplicate that same emotion. So that to me is an ideal leader. What does that mean? It means that everybody can't call themselves a leader because you have a leadership position. You call yourself a leader because you embody these characteristics of understanding that you're in charge of people, a mission and a purpose. And now you have the responsibility to take care of those people, to bring them alongside with you to create this change that you want to make or deliver this goal that you want to deliver. So you could be a stay-at-home mom who understand that you're responsible of these incredible children,
Mm-hmm.
and how you teach them to be great human beings in this world matters, because they're also going to go and be leaders in this world. You could be someone who cleans people's home, and you understand that you bring peace in my mind because I walked in this house after a long day and the house is beautiful and clean, and now I get to spend more time with my daughters and they get to go and be happy kids in this world.
Yeah.
Well, we're leaders. We
Yeah.
just have to understand what that responsibility means and how it's enhancing the lives of others.
Ah, so beautiful. And that's what you want. Like, isn't that? I'm just thinking, if I was back in a business, in a business sort of setting, that's the leader I want.
Mhm.
And those are the people that you respect more, that you
Yeah.
honor more, and you want to follow. That's
If you
the,
have a house cleaner that understands that she's a leader, and
yes.
you've also equally empowered her to understand that she's a leader, your house will be cleaned different. I
Yeah.
promise you.
Yeah.
There's no cutting corners or whatever, because they feel appreciated, they feel valued, they feel seen, they feel hugged. And maybe that day you forgot something on the pot. It's like, oh, she didn't turn off. Maybe while I'm cleaning, I'm going to put this tomato sauce on. When she comes home, it also equally be cooked. I didn't have to do that, but I'm just going to do it because I know.
Yeah.
Or, oh, she forgot to put her laundry in the dryer. Now she's going to come home. It's still going to be dumb. She won't be able to fold it on time. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we just start taking on greater responsibility out of love and appreciation for what we do.
Yeah.
And that's leadership. It's an energy that's exchanged between people at all levels. So to me, if we all get to show up like that, whether you're baking muffins or trying to solve a $2 billion problem, we're doing it differently because we treat people different, we treat ourselves different, and we just solve the problems differently.
That's it. Now, I'm thinking that everyone can probably understand why you're an inspirational speaker as well, Solange. I was thinking, how do the listeners stay in touch with you? How do they find out more? And how do we make sure that you are the next Miss Universe?
uh, First of all, for me, it's easy. If you want to communicate with me at Elevate, it's very simple. Solange at elevateinternational.ca, which is very funny. Sometimes I share these things and I get spammed everywhere. There's also contact at elevateinternational.ca, my personal website, misssolange.com. And everybody always say, why Miss Solange? Aren't you married? Yes, Miss Solange is the 11-year-old girl who had a big vision that I will be standing in front of millions of people one day, inspiring them to make the world better. And I get to love Miss Solange every day for the work that I do and the mission that I drive. So misssolange.com. I am really excited about traveling globally to inspire more people and especially just leaders that want to make the world better and empower more women to just take on great leadership roles. So I think I am excited for what the future holds. And as we talk about Miss Universe, I realized this morning, my gosh, so many live moments happening. I used to say that I want to win Miss Universe Canada. And if I could go and be like top 5 at Miss Universe, that would be great.
Yeah.
But then I realized it was just an internal fear that I was having about how the world has shown us what motherhood and women who work, how that can be challenging. And it was like, I would, it's almost like more women in the world are always willing to sacrifice a great opportunity so that they can be present for their family. But then I thought to myself, how beautiful would that be to become the first Mother Miss Universe Canada and to go on to become Miss Universe and demonstrate that we can open the doors and create this space where women who work and who lead in this world also have the opportunity to still be mothers with the support of partners and sponsors, where our children get to also experience a journey of Miss Universe and get to share what the world looks like on their end as children of the Miss Universe family.
Yeah.
And I thought, we don't get to dim our light because we're afraid of how the world has projected our future. We get to shine our light because we're not afraid to break just status quo and create new opportunities for so many others who will come after us. So I'm excited for this journey and I'm grateful that I get to lead it.
Yeah. And whether you get there or not, you're
Mhm.
already doing it.
Yes.
And it's incredible. And everyone who listens to this as well is going to be like, oh my goodness, she's amazing.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's because you're amazing. You get to create these spaces where, we can just show up like this, no Miss Universe hair, gowns, or anything, or elevate suits. And we just show up in our humble homes and we have conversations that,
Because you're real people at the end of the day as well. You're real
that's it.
people. You're not this, like, you're not an angel on the screen. You're a real person who has wings
Mm.
that we all feel. We don't need to see them. We feel them.
Oh, I love that. I love
A-
that very much.
And
Oh, love
I'm
that.
so grateful to have you with me today, Solange. Thank you so much. Everyone, please look Solange up. She's everywhere. She's got the only name in the world. Solange Tuyishime
Yeah.
Keita.
Yes. There we go. I love it. Love it.
Oh, that was like, did I remember it properly?
Yes. You just remember Matome. Tuyishime
Please
Keita.
like, subscribe, comment if you love this episode. I have so loved having Solange with me. Thank you for spending your time with us today. This is Warm Hugs with Suzanne, and I will see you again shortly. Thank you, Solange.
Thank you. Have a blessed season.
Bye, everyone.